Dear students, once again welcome to EduSat learning program. Today we are going to discuss about grouping of cells. Let us have a recap over the previous class. In previous class, we have discussed about various type of cells. Cells basically are of two types, primary and secondary. The primary cells are of two types, Daniell and Leclancy cell. If in a cell the electrodes are copper and zinc, it is a Daniell cell. If the electrodes are graphite and zinc, it is a Leclancy cell. Both Daniell and Leclancy cell are primary cells and they can give EMF up to nearly 1.5 volt with 0.5 ohm internal resistance. Normally, a cell converts chemical energy into electrical energy. The secondary type of cells are the cells which are rechargeable. These are also known as lead accumulator and also alkaline batteries, as we are using in our daily life. Regarding cells, the cells are active elements in an electrical network. Other elements in a network are resistors, inductors, capacitors, junctions, etc. All these cells and junctions are active, whereas the resistor, inductor and capacitors are known as passive elements. It is essential to calculate the effective EMF and also the effective passive elements in a circuit while calculating the current flowing in a network. So, therefore, the cell grouping is very important in network analysis. So, first of all, let us see about the series grouping of cells. If we consider n number of cells in series, if the cells are of equal EMF and internal resistance, suppose there are n number of such cells in series and they are flowing current in a load of resistance capital R. In this case, the effective EMF E dash of the network will be E plus E plus E n times, it is n times E, and the effective resistance of the network all are in series. So, it is obviously R plus N R. So, the current in the circuit will be E dash divided by R dash. So, it is N E divided by R plus N R. Okay. So, this is about your similar cells in series. If the cells will be dissimilar, that will be calculated by using Kirchhoff's law. We will see in this class after some time by using Kirchhoff's law how to calculate the effective EMF and resistance for in case of dissimilar cells in series. Suppose some of the cells in this network are wrongly connected. What is the meaning of wrong connection? Suppose some of the cells are connected like this and some cells are connected like this. This is the meaning of wrong connection. Suppose n number of cells are wrongly connected and the total number of cells in this group is capital N. So, in this case, what will happen? Your total EMF E dash will be calculated by using the formula N minus 2N into E, whereas the effective resistance R dash will remain as it was, R plus N R. So, my current will be E dash divided by R dash. So, categorically, if we see here that the number of cells which are wrongly connected will counter equal number of cells, and therefore, the effective EMF will be deducted, the number will be deducted by a factor of 2n. Similarly, if we consider parallel grouping of cells, In case of parallel grouping of similar cells, since all the cells are connected to a particular potential difference or between two particular points like this, suppose m times, and here is my external load R, this is ER and again ER. So, obviously, the potential difference between these 2 points, or we can say the effective EMF, is equal to the EMF of each cell, and the effective resistance R will be R plus R by M. Since these internal resistances are in parallel and the combination is in series with the external resistance R. So, therefore, the effective resistance will be R plus R by M. So, my current will be E dash over R dash. So, it is ME divided by MR plus R. Okay. Again, similarly, if the cells are dissimilar, that can be calculated by using Kirchhoff's law. We will see it later on. Now, let us consider mixed grouping of cells. In case of mixed grouping, let us suppose there are n number of cells in series and m number of such networks are in parallel, flowing current across an external load R. Load means it is very simple. It may be an electric bulb, it may be a speaker, it may be a fan or television or a fridge or washing machine. That is the meaning of a load. So, this is my load R and each having EMF E and internal resistance R. So, therefore, in each group I am getting effective EMF of NE, M times. So, therefore, my effective EMF is NE and my effective resistance is R plus NR divided by M. Therefore, the current in the circuit I will be equal to E dash over R dash. So, this will be M N E divided by MR plus NR, and we can write Mn as the total number of cells present here, that is my capital N. So, E divided by MR plus NR. Now, question arises, in which condition this combination of cells will deliver maximum power across the load, which is very important. Suppose we are connecting a bulb here. So, what must be the combination of the cells in which the bulb will glow brighter? So, that is the very essential in network analysis. So, to get I maximum, or we can say the power delivered is given by I square R. Since R is constant, for maximum I we will get maximum power. So, P equal to maximum for I equal to maximum, since R equal to constant. So, therefore, I equal to maximum implies NE divided by MR plus NR is maximum, or MR plus NR is minimum. So, to calculate the value or the relation between capital R and small r, for which MR plus NR is minimum, let us follow the following method. So, this can be written as square root of MR square plus square root of NR square equal to minimum. So, this implies square root of MR minus square root of NR whole square plus 4 root over of MNRR equal to minimum. So, this equation clearly shows this negative part. If it is negative, then its square is again positive. So, this can be minimum only when this part is equal to 0. So, therefore, root over of MR minus root over of NR must be equal to 0 to get the value of MR plus NR minimum. Therefore, this implies MR equal to NR or R equal to NR by M. This is very important in network analysis. So, what we get here is the external load, if it is equal to the total internal resistance of the system, then maximum power is transferred to the load. So, this is known as also the maximum power transfer theorem. The external resistance must be equal to the total internal resistance. Technically or physically, it is known as impedance matching in case of electrical circuits. Okay. So, for R equal to NR by M or R by N equal to small r by M, or we can say R divided by M equal to small r divided by N. This is the condition for a mixed grouping condition. Mixed grouping network gives maximum power across the load. Okay. So, to have a greater knowledge, let us try to evaluate some numericals. Suppose there are 8 cells, each of EMF 5 volt and 0.2 ohm are in series, forms a closed loop. Now, let us try a numerical. There are 8 number of cells, suppose they are like this, 4, so there are 8 number of cells, each of EMF 5 volt and 0.2 ohm as internal resistance in series, forming a closed loop. Find the reading of an ideal voltmeter connected across one of the cell. Suppose this cell. If an ideal voltmeter is connected here, what will be the reading of the voltmeter? Now, there are 8 cells, so EMF is 8 into 5 equal to 40 volt, obviously. So, my resistance 8 into, so since there are 8 cells connected in series, the EMF of the network will be 8 into 5 equal to 40 volt and resistance will be 8 into 0.2 ohm, that will give you 1.6 ohm. So, my current I will be equal to E divided by R. So, it is 40 divided by 1.6, this will be 25 ampere. So, therefore, if I go to calculate the voltmeter reading, then obviously the voltmeter reading V equal to I into internal resistance of this battery IR. So, this will be 25 into, this is, if I go from this point to this point, so this will be E minus IR. So, it is E is my 5 volt minus I is 25 into R is 0.2 volt. So, this is equal to 0. So, the voltmeter reading will be 0. In a similar situation, suppose I have again large number of cells, in a network like this, suppose there are n number of cells connected, and if I calculate the current in this network, I will be equal to NE divided by NR. So, this is E by R. If I choose any 2 point A and B, so my VAB will be equal to obviously minus E plus IR. So, this will be minus E plus E, this is equal to 0. So, in this way we can calculate the potential difference in a network, and also we can calculate the reading of voltmeter like this. Now, let us take another example. Suppose 12 cells are enclosed in a box and they are connected inside in series. They are forming a big battery, and some of the cells are wrongly connected in that. To find how many number of cells, because we cannot break that box, so how to calculate how many number of cells are wrongly connected? So, suppose there are 12 cells in a box. This is a box, black box we can say, inside which we do not know what is happening, only there are 12 cells, and some cells are wrongly connected. What is the data given to us? If this is connected with two similar cells in series with an ammeter, then if these two cells, they are opposing these cells, we are getting a current or reading in the ammeter as 2 ampere. If they add each other, we are getting a current of 3 ampere. Then the question is, there are 12 cells in a battery, some cells are wrongly connected, we choose 2 cells of similar EMF and internal resistance, and with an ammeter they are connected in series. If both add each other, we get a current of 3 ampere. If they oppose each other, we get a current of 2 ampere. This is given to us. Then to calculate how many number of cells are wrongly connected. How many number of cells are wrongly connected? Suppose n number of cells are wrongly connected. If n number of cells are wrongly connected, then my current will be 12 minus 2n plus 2e divided by 12 plus 2r, and this is equal to 3 ampere. It is given. When they add each other, the current is 3 ampere. And similarly, my I dash will be equal to 12 minus 2n E minus 2e divided by 12 plus 2 R equal to 2 ampere. So, this implies 14 minus 2n E divided by 10 minus 2n E equal to 3 by 2. So, this will give me 28 E minus 4 n E equal to 30 E minus 6 n E. So, 2 n E equal to 2 E. So, this implies n equal to 1. So, only one cell is wrongly connected in this battery. Inside this battery, only one cell is wrongly connected. Now, let us take another type of example regarding the power transfer, maximum power transfer. For that, now let us consider, suppose there are 24 cells, each of internal resistance 1 ohm. To get a maximum power across a load of 10 ohm, what will be the necessary connection? So, there are 24 cells given. Suppose each of EMF E and internal resistance 1 ohm, and we are trying to draw a maximum power across a load of 10 ohm. We know that if these 24 cells are connected in such that if there are n number of cells in series and m number of such series combinations are in parallel, then we know power P equal to maximum for R equal to NR by M, for R equal to NR by M, or we can say it is MNR divided by M square. So, this will give us M square equal to capital N R divided by capital R, where capital N is the total number of cells present. This is 24 into R is 1 ohm and this is 10, R is 10. So, this is equal to 2.4. Therefore, M equal to square root of 2.4, if you calculate it, it is nearly 1.56. So, neither it is 1 nor it is 2, it is coming 1.56. So, therefore, this type of combination is not possible. So, we have to take either 1 or 2. Now, let us calculate one by one what will happen if your M is 1 or M is 2. For M is equal to 1, power P equal to I square R, I square is N square E square divided by MR plus NR square into R, capital R. So, now put the value of M equal to 1. For M equal to 1, N equal to 24. So, it is 24 square E square, it is divided by R plus 24 into, it is 10 plus 24 into 1. So, it is 24 square and R is again 10. Similarly, or we can write it as 24 square into 10 divided by 34 square E square. And similarly, if we calculate for M equal to 2, then N equal to 12. So, we will get phi equal to, the numerator will be exactly same, 24 square into 10 divided by, but the denominator will be, if this is 2, so this will be 20 plus 12 square E square. Now, if we compare the two, this will be 32 square. So, now clearly the denominator of this power P and the denominator of this power P, if we compare, this is more. So, this power will be less. So, now let us take it as P1 and this is as P2. So, what we get is P1 is smaller than P2, or we can say the power P2 is maximum, power P2 is maximum, and therefore, the combination, required combination will be m equal to 2, n equal to 12. So, there will be 12 number of cells in series and 2 such series combinations will be in parallel. This is the required type of grouping. Okay. In this case, the power transfer will be maximum. So, similarly, students, you go through your book and you see there are lot of numericals given regarding power transfer, because this is very important in network analysis. Because what else we need? We need how maximum power can be drawn out of a combination or out of a network. That is our intention. So, by knowing the how to draw the maximum power, you can effectively design the combination of cells. So, now we are going to discuss about Kirchhoff's laws. The first law of Kirchhoff is stated as the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is 0. What do you mean by a current? A current flows due to a potential difference. There are several types of currents present in our daily life. It may be water current, it may be air current, it may be thermal current, it may be electric current. Electric current flows due to the potential difference, thermal current due to temperature difference, water current due to energy difference, potential energy difference, or we can say the height difference, and all these currents behaves in a very similar fashion and obey Kirchhoff's law. Now, let us see what is the meaning of first law of Kirchhoff. The algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is 0. It means the number of charge carriers, in case of metals the charge carriers are electrons, the number of electrons which are coming to the junction is exactly equal to the number of electrons going away from the junctions. It means that the charge is conserved, Q is conserved, and summation I equal to 0. If we consider the incoming current as I1 and the outgoing current as I2, so obviously this will be, suppose I3, I1 is taken as positive and I2, I3 are taken as negative, because they are going away from the junction. So, therefore, we can write I1 minus I2 minus I3 equal to 0, or I1 equal to I2 plus I3. So, this indicates that the sum of incoming current is equal to the sum of outgoing current, or summation of all currents meeting at the junction is equal to 0. So, this is in accordance with the conservation of charge. Now, let us take some small examples. In any other part of physics, suppose in thermal physics, suppose we consider a metal plate like this, and it is having a bent part. Suppose this part is 60 centimeter long, this part is 5 centimeter long. So, obviously, bent part is 70 centimeter long. If 130 joule of energy it is entering to this network from left, then calculate what is the amount of energy flowing through the bent part. So, in this context, what we can calculate is your energy is directly proportional to current. Energy flow is directly proportional to current. It may be electric current, it may be thermal current, it may be fluid current. So, and current is inversely proportional to resistance. So, if I compare the resistances of both the parts, the resistance of bent part is equal to 7/6 times the resistance of straight part. So, therefore, my current I will be equal to, through the bent part, will be equal to 6/7 times the current in the straight part. So, therefore, the energy through the bent part will be equal to 6 into total energy divided by 13. So, this will give you 60 joule of energy, and similarly the energy through the straight part will be 7 into E divided by 13. E is 130 joule, so that will be 70 joule. So, what we see that if the resistance is more, then obviously the current will be less and less amount of energy will flow through that network or through that part of the network. And if the resistance is small, then obviously the current is high for a particular potential, and hence a large part of energy will be across that part of the network, will be available across that part of the network. Similarly, we can also take another example. Suppose in an electrical circuit, the potentials are given as, suppose, 20 volt, 10 volt and 0 volt, like this. This is my point A, the junction point is A. All the conductors are having equal resistance R. Then calculate the potential of A. So, using my Kirchhoff's first law, what we get is, if this is my current I1, this is current I2, this is current I3, then I1 will be equal to I2 plus I3. So, what is I1? It is 20 minus A divided by R equal to A minus 10 divided by R plus A minus 0 divided by R. So, this implies 20 minus A equal to 2A minus 10. So, 3A equal to 30. So, A equal to 10 volt. So, my A equal to 10 volt. So, this is my answer. Similarly, in any network or any junction, at any junction, we can calculate the potential of the junction or current through any part of the network by using Kirchhoff's first law. Now, let us discuss about Kirchhoff's second law. It states that the algebraic sum of the changes in potential in a complete traversal of a mesh is known to be a closed network, is always 0. The second law tells us that summation V equal to 0 means it is in accordance with the conservation of energy. Consider a closed mesh of a network. Suppose a closed mesh is like this. This is a closed mesh. And current is suppose flowing like this. Okay. Now, suppose this is my E1 and this is R1, this is E2, this is R2 and this is R3 and this is my current I1, current I2 and this is current I3. Okay. So, this is the part of a big network and this part is forming a closed mesh. We can apply Kirchhoff's second law inside this mesh, and what Kirchhoff's second law is telling us, that sum of V equal to 0. What is my V? What is V? V is E minus IR equal to 0 or summation E equal to summation IR. So, this is the meaning of Kirchhoff's second law. Now, let us try to apply Kirchhoff's second law to this closed mesh. Suppose I am applying in clockwise direction, it is immaterial whether you apply in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. In clockwise direction, suppose I start from this point. So, when I go like this, E1 is supporting me, so it is plus E1, and again through this network, through this side, E2 is opposing me, so it is minus E2 equal to. So, this is my summation of E. Similarly, if along my path the current is in same direction, then this is plus I1 R1. Here is also the current is in same direction, plus I2 R2, and in the third phase the current opposes my direction, so it is minus I3 R3. So, I can write E1 minus E2 equal to I1 R1 plus I2 R2 minus I3 R3. This is what in the way, this is the way in which we can apply Kirchhoff's second law in a closed network or in a mesh to find out the values of unknown resistance, the values of current, the values of EMF, etc. in the circuit. It is in accordance with the law of conservation of energy. Okay. So, now let us apply Kirchhoff's first law and second law to find or to solve some problems in network analysis. First of all, now let us consider two dissimilar cells, or there are several number of dissimilar cells in series, providing current through a load resistance R. This is E1, R1, E2, R2 and so on, En, Rn, n times. So, therefore, my current in the network will be how much? E equivalent divided by R equivalent. E equivalent divided by R equivalent. Now, let us apply Kirchhoff's second law in anti-clockwise direction. So, what I get? I get E1 plus E2 plus dot 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 up to En equal to. Since current is in the same direction, in the direction in which I am going, so it is I R1 plus R2 plus dot 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 plus Rn plus capital R. IR1 plus IR2 up to IRN plus IR. So, I equal to summation E divided by R plus summation R. So, therefore, now comparing these two equations, I can take an inference that E equivalent equal to summation E, that is E1 plus E2 plus dot 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 up to En in case of series grouping of dissimilar cells. And similarly, R equivalent equal to R plus summation R. So, this is the case in case of series grouping. And similarly, if we consider parallel grouping of dissimilar cells, let us see what is happening. In case of parallel grouping of dissimilar cells, suppose there are two cells E1 R1 and E2 R2 and they are flowing current in an external resistance R. Okay. So, here the current I will be equal to, suppose this is flowing I1 and this is giving us I2. So, your current I will be equal to I1 plus I2. The currents I1 and I2 can be calculated by using Kirchhoff's second law. There are three networks here, E1 network, E2 network, then E1 E2 network. So, using Kirchhoff's law in these three networks we can get three equations, out of which from two equations we can find out the value of I1 and I2 in terms of R after some time. So, in this network what we see, both the cells they are providing current I1 and I2, the main current is I. So, my main current I is equal to I1 plus I2. Now, let us calculate the value of I1 and I2 by using Kirchhoff's law. Now, using Kirchhoff's law in E1 R network, I will get E1 equal to I1 R1 plus IR. So, this implies I1 equal to E1 by R1 minus I R by R1. Similarly, in the second network containing E2 and R, I can write E2 equal to I2 R2 plus IR, and in a very similar fashion I have I2 equal to E2 by R2 minus I R by R2. Now, as I equal to I1 plus I2, so I can write I equal to E1 by R1 minus I R by R1 plus E1 E2 by R2 minus I R by R2. So, this is equal to E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 minus I taking common or IR taking common 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Now, let us take this term to the left side. So, I have I into 1 plus R into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 equal to E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2. Now, dividing both sides by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, I get I into R plus 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 inverse E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So, my I equal to this E equivalent divided by R equivalent. If I compare this equation with this one, then obviously I will get E equivalent equal to summation E by R divided by summation 1 by R, and R equivalent equal to R plus 1 divided by summation 1 by R. R plus 1 divided by summation 1 by R. So, in this fashion we can calculate the equivalent EMF of a large number of cells in parallel which are dissimilar in nature. For an example, let us take a very small example that suppose there are two batteries. Suppose this is 10 volt 2 ohm and this is 5 volt 1 ohm. These are two batteries. If I calculate the potential, terminal potential, then my terminal potential or EMF will be how much? It is summation E by R divided by summation 1 by R. It is 10 into 1 plus 5 into 2 E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2, 2 plus 1. So, this will be 20 by 3 volt. So, it is 6.34 volt or 33 volt, like that. So, this will be the terminal potential we can calculate by using your Kirchhoff's second law in a combination of dissimilar cells in parallel. Okay. So, let us take another example, and in this example let us calculate by using Kirchhoff's law and also by using this shortcut formula to find out the effective potential across a combination of cells. So, very simple formula: two cells in parallel E1 R1 E2 R2, three cells E1 R1 E2 R2 E3 R3. So, in this case my E equal to E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So, this is E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2. And similarly, in this case what we get is E1 R2 R3 plus E2 R1 R3 plus E3 R1 R2 divided by your R1 R2 R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. Okay. These two things, R2 R3 plus R1 R3 plus R1 R2, and this is the thing. And similarly, suppose there are 4 cells. If there are 4 cells, then obviously E will be equal to E1 R2 R3 R4 plus E2 R1 R3 R4 plus E3 R1 R2 R4 plus E4 R1 R2 R3 divided by the same one R2 R3 R4 plus R1 R3 R4 plus R1 R2 R4 plus R1 R2 R3. So, in this way we can calculate the effective EMF or potential across parallel combination of dissimilar cells. Suppose in this combination E2 is reversely connected. Suppose E2 is connected like this. This is my E2 R2. So, in this case what will happen? My E will be equal to E1 R2 minus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So, you have to remember this formula, that if the cells are oppositely connected, means the positive terminal of one is connected to the negative terminal like this, and but they are in parallel combination. So, obviously we are getting your effective EMF will be E1 R2 minus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So, therefore, we can solve some more problems of parallel grouping. Suppose there are two cells, one is 5 volt 1 ohm internal resistance, another is also 5 volt and 0.5 ohm internal resistance. What is the terminal potential? The terminal potential will be E equal to 5 into 0.5, 2.5 plus 5 into 1, 5 divided by 1.5. So, it is 7.5 by 1.5. So, it is 5 volt. So, this is equal to 5 volt. So, in this way we can calculate the terminal potential. So, we see here if two EMFs are each of 5 volt and different internal resistance, we can calculate by using the same formula, summation E by R divided by summation 1 by R, and in this way we see that it is also we are getting the same 5 volt. So, regarding the parallel grouping, we will see more problems in the next episode. Thank you.